Join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down. Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association on this station.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today.
I'm ready.
Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread?
I can't stop eating it.
Rico,
Relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Uncut with former Nebraska baseball pitcher Kyle Perry on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to Ticket Weeknights. This is Uncut. The man is back. Former Nebraska baseball player, former pitcher Kyle Perry joining me in studio to my left. Kyle Perry, it's been a hot minute. How's it going, man?
Harrison, man, thank you for having me. It's great to be back.
Absolutely.
Out here with all the night owls, man. This is great. It's great to be back in the booth, man. This is a phenomenal view we got here.
I was going to say, this
compared
is the
to
first
last time we were on, huh?
in the studio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The last view, I mean, we can call it what it is. It was a dungeon.
Yo, but it's gritty, and that's,
it was.
You want to talk about getting
gritty.
out of the mud? I mean, shout out DP, shout out his wife. I mean, what great people and way to get it out. That's awesome. Just the upgrades, and you look around, it's such a great spot, right here in the heart of Lincoln, and it's great to be back in Lincoln. Also, I've missed this place since I haven't been back since June. So, great to be back. The last time I was actually in here, I crashed a show. Josh Karen and I, right after we dogpiled in Omaha, we came back and
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we did what we did, and we went out downtown, had a few drinks, and as I was coming back down the street, recognized Matt Warner that was sitting in the in the booth, and I can't remember who we were talking to, but I totally just crashed it. I brought Josh in and started talking about how he hit 10 home runs in the Big Ten tournament, and I don't know if they appreciated that or not. I doubt they did.
100%. No, okay. That's a timely entrance.
Good. Well, and I mean, I guess that's why the view. I mean, to have those moments, it was pretty sweet. It was hilarious though, because the door was locked. which that's good. That's a great thing that the door is locked. But
yeah, we got to take some. I wear multiple hats here at night, so I'm security as well as producer, and we got to keep things. We got to keep things locked up. You never know which knuckleheads are running around the neighborhood.
No doubt. No, that's a great precaution.
But you're not a knucklehead, so
yeah.
we'll make sure
but I was, for the
you.
record, for the few listening, I was locked out of here for about 15 minutes before I was able to get in.
I'm not gonna lie, I got a text from Rico, and I saw a guy walking by. It's like, that looks like Kyle Perry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but he's not supposed to start until later. And then I'm going through the calendar, and I'm like, no, that was Kyle Perry.
I wasn't gonna go 2 for 2 and come in and crash this show that was going on before. I wasn't gonna do that. So no, that's all right. It's a beautiful night out here in Lincoln. So.
Absolutely. So give the people what you're up to. Obviously, last year, I think a lot of people are happy to see you back. You're kind of like one of the hometown guys. It's very similar to what you see on a lot of players. Really, anybody who's a Nebraska kid, they get a lot of love for going to the University of Nebraska. So you made your last stop, able to go out with the Big Ten championship too, which was awesome. So kind of just starting there. What was that like? Finally notching one of those under the belt.
So it was a really fun season. Great group of guys. So it really wasn't a hard decision to come back, especially with the guys that were returning. It was like, you can either go to corporate America or come back and spend another year in college. And at the time I was trying to explain it to the people that were probably like, I get it. The baseball world, you see a guy like me, 2 elbow surgeries. I totally get it, man. But it's like, you ask any 40-year-old dude out there, would you take a 6th year in college? It'd be a resounding hell yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? I mean,
I feel
like anybody, if they had one to take,
team chemistry, like leadership, I think having guys in that locker room like that never hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been there for 6 years. They stuck around. They know how it operates. They know what the standards are.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what type of leader you are, if you're the rah-rah guy or quiet, lead by example.
No, definitely not quiet.
Yeah, I don't know that much.
No, I'm definitely not quiet. So, I mean, I'm closer to the rah-rah guy. And honestly, last year, they probably wanted me to tone it down just a little bit, really, just to kind of get the point across that I'm a mature grandpa, figure in the clubhouse. And that's totally fine. I'll fit that role.
They give you nicknames for being the old guy? I'm sure.
I'm sure they do, but I don't remember any of them. I mean, it's usually Perry or old man at that point, so it's, I don't think anything too crazy. I usually give out the nicknames on the squad. So, I mean, I don't think anybody really had other nicknames for me other than just, my last name. But anyways, it was a really great way to go out and finish off the college career on, in Omaha, in a dog pile.
It's cool to see Omaha that red.
That was that was really neat. And I got to experience that my freshman year when we made it to the Big Ten championship.
That's right.
Against Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah, 2019. And that was a heartbreaker, man. And I still, I'll die on this hill that the Big Ten, they snuck in Ohio State to get, because they had to win that game. And I'm not making excuses for nobody, but you go back and Aaron Polensky hit a dribbler to third base in that game, and he beat it by a step. I guarantee it. And I know there's a still frame that we saw on Twitter right after that game ended. Couldn't believe it once we saw it, because this isn't like this is a humble brag, I guess, but when you watch enough baseball, you see those bang bang plays. They slow down a little bit more when you're when you're seeing it right there. And I could have swore to you, I told our pitching coach Ted Silva in the dugout, because I was up on the front rail all the time because I was doing bats and hats, which is just being the bat boy for the team when you're hitting, right? And so usually we scored runs when I was doing that. So it was a superstitious thing, to have me, right? Anyways, because championship game, and so I told Ted Silva, because he was right there next to me. I said, "Oh, he's safe. We're good." So a run scored, and I think it made it 3-2. A 1-run game, and it's hilarious that we're in this position just a little while ago against Penn State. A 1-run game and a championship game like that, I mean, it can turn right on its head, right? And so they ended up calling him out, and then after the game, because it was televised, obviously, they had the still shot from Polensky, foot on the bag,
Yeah, if anybody's
making an imprint of the bag.
They're not arguing.
Oh yeah, so you're well aware.
Yeah,
so,
unfortunately,
yeah,
I pushed it back. No, I did well to push that back, and now that memory's stuck in my head again.
And that just segues you right into the Big Ten officiating, and boy, that's we don't need to talk about that.
I've talked about it a lot.
Trying to keep the blood pressure down a little bit post baseball.
It's sport wide. It's Big Ten wide. That's what I mean. To be real, I mean that's what pisses me off about it. It's like if it's not Nebraska today, it's Maryland, Purdue, Oregon, UCLA. Those schools will get used to it too here at some point. But it's, I mean, it's outrageous.
Hey, you know, you watch enough of it, you just become immune.
Yeah, maybe it's that part.
Yeah, but that's okay. You know, and they're not perfect, and I will be the first to say I did fall league umpiring for 6 weeks in the fall a couple years back, and boy, I'll tell you, it's a lot harder than it looks. But you know, if you're getting paid that sort of money and you go through that sort of training, it's like,
for me, it's always, we got to get out of making it a part-time gig.
Yeah,
like if we're talking $1 million business,
why
are we having the guys who officiate the games that are being played? Why are we having those guys be part-timers in a very important role that is a $1 million operation?
You know, and it's good though when you have. Is it Gene Sachator? Is that the guy? Is that the big man that gets paid the big bucks? For analyzing stuff in New York. And I mean, I think it's like those games are so great when you have a guy like that, right? You know, when in a televised game where they shoot you to, all right, you know what? The guys in the booth, we don't know anything about what's going on right now. We're going to shoot it to Gene. In New York. Be done with it. And Gene's like, well, you know, you look at this guy. We've seen this case before, and he analyzes the rules and everything. And it's like, all right, yeah. So then you are aware of what the call should be.
Mm-hmm.
So then if the crew comes out of the replay room and makes the wrong call, which usually ends up being obvious if they do make the wrong call, that they're kind of exposed right there in the moment, you know. And
that's what's always so weird about it is like, it's like, maybe you should have the refs get a piece of that as well. Like whatever he's saying. Cause it happens. Like, it's honestly a coin toss when they come out. It's like, well, I know what the guy said on the TV, who's their quote unquote, you know, official helper for the day with the broadcasting cast. And then when they come out there, and it happens more often than it should, where they give the opposite call. And
no doubt.
Then it's a little bit awkward as they try to explain, like, well, maybe this is what they saw. And obviously they try to help each other out because it is a brutal job.
Yeah.
And if anybody who's gone up through reffing, like I only made it through elementary basketball.
Yeah.
And then they want me to call travels everywhere. And
that's
I'm like,
hard enough.
You want this game to end? Like, we could be here all night if I start calling everything that I see.
We're gonna speed this thing up real quick.
Like, these guys.
I'll let the boys play.
Well, seriously, it's like at some point they need to play. Like, they're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
And then I just think a lot of people burn out before they even get to the
teach them how
high
to play
school
through
and college and all that. Yeah, it's like you get through high school and you're like, man, this is brutal.
Yeah. Flopping all over the place.
Mm-hmm. And you're just not getting paid very much at the high school level. So it's, I think the easy answer is like make them full-time, pay them more. Then you can also train them, you know, year round. Obviously you're not going to like make them drill every day, but at least have more events where they can get together and the Big Ten officiating crews can get together and at least figure out how we can officiate this conference equally.
Sure.
That's a lot to ask for it to be the exact same as how the SEC and get everybody on the same page, but you see too much of it.
Yeah, you ought to look up how much the major league umpires they make. I think it's a pretty penny, but I think that, they're doing that as a full-time gig and so I think they're getting paid all right. But I mean, yeah, it's a really tough job to do, and but yeah, going back to that game, that was a crucial move because they had their guy Andrew Magno out there for Ohio State, and he's a freaking stud, and he was rolling. I think he threw like 17 innings that day, and because they had to play a game before we played them, and yeah, he just went crazy. So he shut down our offense, and they ended up winning, I think 3-1 or something like that. But it was a crusher of an out call in that situation.
Yeah, and if you're curious, what do you think the number is for an average MLB umpire?
350.
Pretty close. It's about 300 grand.
Okay.
Yep. Anywhere between 120 to 450 is kind of where that average is at.
And so then you also got to think, well, are they compensated by the league when they're traveling with their crews?
You got to think so. 100%.
So then they're getting free hotels, free meals. Hey, you know what? 300 doesn't sound too bad now.
Yeah. Where are you at with umps in the MLB? Because there's some certain umpires that have had their names dragged through social media. Some of it fair, some of it not fair.
And just like anything, I mean, they're getting exposed on social media if they're doing a bang out job. It's like
good camera quality has really hurt.
Yeah.
Umps.
Well, and having the K zone, having that immediate feedback of whether or not the pitch was a ball or a strike. It's like, dude, you get behind there and you look. It's hard to judge if a ball. And I've had this. Speaking of Josh Caron, I've had this talk with him multiple times because I mean, I just think the zone is, you get a ball, you get a not off the dish, but it's like now it feels like you have to put the entire ball on the dish, to get the call in. But at the same time, for all the guys that are, squeezing pitchers, there's just as many umpires that are
there's
given
also part of that where they got to balance that out with what the batter's trying to do to affect the box.
No doubt. Now I'm just thinking bias as a pitcher, and that's where Josh Karen and I would butt heads about, and so, but yeah, I mean, it's they get exposed if they do a bad job, But at the same time, I think they need to be tapped on the back. I saw this guy that I think it was in the postseason a couple years back, an umpire, he called a perfect game.
That's
like
pretty
he didn't
insane.
He didn't miss a pitch. Like that, how unreal that is. Like, so if a guy does that, like put him in the freaking Baseball Hall of Fame.
He better be there for the World Series.
Yeah,
that's all.
I mean, I believe it was the postseason game, if I'm not mistaken. But still, spring training game. I don't care. That's a really incredible feat.
Yeah, that's being locked in at that level.
Yeah, dialed, dude.
Like,
dialed.
I don't know how you call a perfect game from the umpire standpoint.
Yeah.
Because you're going to miss some. Like,
you can make a case that, no, I'm not even going to go ahead and say that. I was going to say, throwing a perfect game, but that's just ridiculous. But, either or.
I mean, get
pretty
curious.
incredible.
You'd have to go back in time, like how many perfect games have been called by the umpire. It might actually be a statistic that's just as crazy.
But like we said, especially with how, high tech everything is now, it's like, he makes one call, no one's giving him that.
No.
That's a pat on the back, but he called a perfect game.
Are we ever going to see like any changes with the umps, or is that just like a staple of baseball? You don't mess with it.
And I think that's where a lot of traditional baseball fans and ex-players, it's like you love the human aspect of it.
Yeah, well, the coach has got to yell at somebody.
Yeah,
when it's not going right.
And I'm sorry, like you got to keep some of that around. You got to pick your spots, where you go, where you turn to technology, and when you keep the human aspect around. And I feel like the umpire is just something you shouldn't touch.
It's like the chain gang in
just
football.
Freaking keep training them better, keep paying them good money, like you said, and the cream will rise to the top. And so at the highest level, at the on the highest state or brightest stages, you have the cream of the crop calling games, and I'm not saying you got to go call a perfect game.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Incredible, dude. That is incredible.
But you can get, majority of the time, what is the average error rate?
I couldn't tell you. I don't follow it. See, like I don't follow it.
It probably varies depending on the umps.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some nerds out there that know, the average, and that's also like it. I find it fascinating, all the data in the game now.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I believe it was Apple TV that had like they changed per app, like it varies every at bat. They changed the stat and the percentage of that stat happening in real time. And it's like, dude, like it varies pitch to pitch. And I mean, it's incredible. That stuff is really fascinating, but it's like, that's about as much as I'm like going to be like, this is cool, until I go like, hey, all right, this is a little overboard, where it's like, these guys are not robots out here. Like, don't gotta attach numbers to everything they do. I mean, hell, like how far they track the outfield, that stuff's cool, but it's like, it's like sports science. It's like this, this giant production of sports science.
Yeah. And they always the sports science always did a hell of a job making every quarterback look like the next Tom Brady.
Sure. And I think it's really cool. And it's like, if that's what you're going to do, if you're going to do an hour-long show explaining how this is it, this is, how it works, this is what you look at when you're watching on TV, but it's like, you don't got to shove it down the people's throats. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. And the numbers, you can never decide either, like what, did that guy's girlfriend break up with him before the game? Like, it is weird stuff, like, but that's the human element of sports.
Right.
The numbers are never going to capture.
Right.
So, like,
first ever to, have a 3-hit game after, getting a colonoscopy or something like that. You're absolutely right. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. And, you can thank Moneyball for that. That's when things really took off.
Hell of a movie.
It is a great movie.
Tip your cap, R.I.P. Billy Bean, R.I.P.
That's right. What is the best baseball movie of all time? We got a little bit of time here left before we got to throw it to break.
Beautiful.
Got me thinking.
I love this. Well, here's the deal. I think Barstool did a bit on this, didn't they? And the guy, he picked Fever Pitch as a better movie than, I believe it wasn't Sandlot, it wasn't Bull Durham.
Field of Dreams?
No, it was Major League 1. And the guy picked Fever Pitch. Like, it was like one of those bits as like, talk when you see a better movie than
Yeah.
And so they had Major League as the first movie, and then they go and they show like Bull Durham, and they're like, nah, like no, pass. And then Fever Pitch was the next one. And the guy's like, I gotta say something. I was like,
Pitch?
dude, Like Fever Pitch.
I'll be honest.
Drew
That's the
Barrymore and
one
Jimmy Fallon.
that
You're gonna let
rarely
them?
crosses my brain when I
Right?
think of great baseball movies.
Like, come on, man.
I might
Where's
have to
the Red
Google that
Sox?
one to remember it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal. I mean, like, I'm sure it's a great movie. I haven't seen it in a long while, but it's like, dude,
I don't know if I've sat
that
through the entire
doesn't
thing.
compare to Major League, bro.
Mm.
You can't say that
Or
Jimmy
even 42.
Fallon was better than freaking Charlie Sheen.
Mm-mm.
Sorry.
I think you got to give me Sandlot all day just because that's
Sandlot,
a classic.
that is a classic, brother. What a great answer, but very, very conservative answer at the same time.
It's less serious.
Yes.
Otherwise, if I'm going for like more like buckle down, give me 42. That one's great.
A buckle down. Both great films. Give me a second here because I really do enjoy Bull Durham. Bull Durham, the narration of Bull Durham is beautiful. It's beautiful and it tells a great story. And I think I love how it exposes the old minor leagues. You know, I just love
Yeah,
it.
it
Like
does.
you got Nuke Lelouch doing the dirty in the locker room, 10 minutes before first pitch, and he's the starting pitcher. Like that's classic. I can't relate, but that's classic, and it's shot in what, the 70s?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well,
just-
Durham, hey, they got that 1988, so actually not even
Okay.
close to
I
70s.
don't know. That's whatever. That's close. 8 years. Come on, Harrison.
Yeah, and then man, I haven't seen The Natural, but that's an 84
That's a
movie.
hell of a movie. Natural's a great movie. My dad loves that one. That's Wonder Boy. That was his bat. It's a pretty incredible. It's a fictional film, but it's a really good movie. But let's see.
Oh, is that the one where this freak athlete
Mm.
of a baseball player gets recruited, and he it's like the most unrealistic
He
movie?
hits the like his bat gets struck by lightning.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
And
There's a movie
so-
I'm talking about where he's like the pitcher. He's basically Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, that's
on
Rookie of the Year,
steroids.
isn't it?
That might be Rookie.
Where
of
he
the Year.
breaks his arm throwing it from the
Yeah,
stands.
that one's played up like crazy.
It is, and that is a really good one because I mean the kid's like 10 in the movie.
Yeah, he's a
It's
young
crazy.
buck.
Yeah, but he's leading the Cubs to a World Series or something
Mhm.
like that.
It's totally unrealistic, but like
Absolutely.
you keep watching.
I love it. Sandlot's the same like vibe as it hits all the right spots, just like Bull Durham, when it comes to like the nostalgia baseball vibe. And that's the great American pastime. It just hits all those right notes. So you gotta put those in the conversation for sure.
Yeah, we got Ohio Husker chiming in here. Kevin Costner for Love of the Game. That's another great film.
Yeah, and we should dive into the Kevin Costner and Cal Ripken Jr. Ordeal if there's any truth to that. That'd be funny if Ohio man had anything to say about that. But Kevin Costner, he loves ball. I'm pretty, that's pretty known. So I love. But what are the other Kevin Costner movies? Field of Dreams, that's a good one.
Yeah, Field of Dreams, that's always up there.
And then
for me.
obviously Bull Durham.
Just the Field of Dreams speech always gets me.
Yeah,
fired up.
it's goosebumps.
That
dude.
whole monologue, I think it's like a minute, might be like 2 minutes long.
Yeah,
But that one
Field of
gives me
Dreams,
goosebumps.
the same thing. You those directors, they know what spots to hit in those baseball movies.
I don't know what happened to it, but I can't. Baseball movies have just really dried up.
Yeah. I mean,
What was the last great baseball movie?
Moneyball
Moneyball.
has to be.
Yeah, because that one's pretty recent. I mean, that's.
I mean, 42. I guess you did mention 42.
Mhm. Maybe
Chadwick
they are
Boseman
still
does a hell of a
producing
job
some
in that,
good
huh?
ones.
It's
Yeah,
a great freaking movie.
but now they're all just based on history.
Right.
We'll see what happens if we have anything like cool and epic happen in these modern years. But like,
Well, you might just see like another Rookie of the Year situation. where,
yeah, or a docu series on the Houston Astros.
Yeah,
Those would be pretty popular.
Still good stuff though. I mean, but I'm sure there's going to be plenty of content out there. But you're right. It does kind of leave us to just kind of lean on history, doesn't it?
I think so because I mean, I don't know where you at as we wrap things up, man. We can talk about later on the segment. Where you at is like MLB as a whole and America's attention span with it. Do you think it's still growing? Do you think it's still struggling to gather a consistent fan base?
I respect the pace of play. The pitch clock.
I think it helped a ton.
I was always a fast paced guy, so I never worried about
It's in your
taking
favor.
too much time. But when you're not playing, you'd notice those guys that take their sweet time, and it's really irritating.
Well,
So,
especially when just like it's a little bit fun, but then you get tired of it when you're like, okay, this is cool, a little bit of mind game going on.
yeah,
But when the mind game just drags on through innings,
Sure.
it's like this is okay.
Yeah.
If you're a dad or you got to take the kids to go to sleep and you're getting to the ninth inning and somehow it gets delayed, like
no doubt.
those games can get really long.
But now, as a fan, I believe it was Joey Votto that said this, but it's like you go to a game and it's like you just the aroma of the game. You can show up in the 3rd inning or you can leave in the 6th. It doesn't matter, you know. You go there and like as a fan, I respect that, you know. So it's like you would love, you know, it's like you hear the concession stand and the beers aren't going to be available after the 7th inning or something. That breaks your heart, you know. It's like that. So it's like it's that sort of thing when it's like, well, wait, the 7th inning is already here and we're, you know, an hour 15 into the game. It's like that's a bummer. You know, so
that is true.
I get both sides there because it's like as a player, you know, quick games are freaking awesome, right? Because you've already been there at the field for 5 hours, you know, so you get you're in compete mode, and then if say the game goes quick, you win. It's like you notice, wow, that obviously when you're losing, you want as many innings as possible, but yeah, no, when you're winning, when you're on the winning side of that, and you have a quick game. Jackson Brockett, speaking of which, freaking no-hitter. That was one of the quickest games of all time. I mean, that was you
awesome.
Noticed that as well as, you know, a no-hitter being thrown on top.
Those ones are okay when they go quick because even when you're in the stadium, if you're at home, right?
Yeah.
Because then the excitement just gets unreal.
Yeah.
With every pitch, and you almost want it to just kind of speed up. Like, let's see him out there. Like, even if, you know, your team struggles on hitting, it's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
let's see our guy go out there again.
But when it comes to like how the major leagues are doing it, I'm sure, you know, the players have their own opinions on it, and
I'm sure.
But as a fan, I really don't see any issue with how it's being presented. I mean, making the bases bigger is kind of funny. Like,
yeah, what was the reasoning for that?
I couldn't tell you. It just never. There's just things that are changing in the game that's like they've never even crossed my mind, and I've been playing it for all my life. You know,
the bases seem like the only reason you would do that is cosmetically.
Yeah, well,
and even then, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why you want?
I think it's a safety thing. I think that's what they were originally like trying to do, is like too many stepped on feet or something. I don't know. I'm assuming that's what.
There's got to be a rhyme or reason for it,
no doubt.
Whether
so
the reason
I'm assuming it's safety.
That makes sense.
I don't know all too much about it, but I do think it's hilarious. The pictures of, you know, the bases look huge.
They do.
Yeah, when you notice them,
you notice it right away. Like when they change it, like you go on TV and you're like, those bases look bigger. And then you look it up and you're like, oh no, they actually are bigger.
Yeah.
With that being said, we'll throw it to our first break here. Uncut with Kyle Perry, former Husker pitcher. He is back. He'll be doing this show on a regular basis, Sunday through Thursday. Do we got a time slot lined up for Sundays yet?
Probably 10 to 11, huh? Maybe.
Maybe not. Might be able to get you in. You might be able to get Kyle Perry earlier on a Sunday. But as far as the weeknights go, this is going to be his consistent time slot. Again, appreciate you listening. We got 2 more segments on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bosson. Education is a cornerstone for strong, vibrant communities. I voted for the largest investment in education in Nebraska history. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Nebraska is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and understand the valuable role of education in growing our community. This is Carolyn Bosson, and I will continue to support education in the legislature. Vote Carolyn Bosson on November 5th. Paid for by Bosson for Legislature.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Landmark Implement helps you put dirt in its place with increased accuracy and greater speed thanks to the John Deere Smart Grade. This fully integrated 3D grade control system boosts job site productivity and reduces labor costs with fewer passes and less wasted material, meaning more bids won and higher margins. No masts, no cables, just clear views of the job site. Visit your local Landmark Implement today and discover the profit-boosting power of the Smart Grade and experience the Landmark difference.
Back to Uncut with Kyle Perry on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. It's me, Kyle Perry, in studio. This is Uncut. You're listening to right now Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, Channel 961. You want to put a face to the voice, always a great way to do so. And again, the Starter Heyman text line open to you, 402-464-5685. Again, this is it's somewhat of a new show. It's kind of the rebirth of what was Uncut with Kyle Perry when he was a Husker. Now he's the former Husker, but still up to baseball down in Waverly, as we talked off the break. But I know you got some MLB thoughts. You mentioned Schwellenbach over the break, what he's been able to do. So Kyle Perry, the host, I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, man. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing over in Waverly. I'm now the manager of a softball and baseball facility called The Wave.
You always envision yourself like being around baseball
Really,
even after?
Really, really grateful that I still am. And I mean, I always said, like when I kind of saw the writing was on the wall with, being a player in baseball, that, I probably would ideally want to be around it, and, you always hear a lot of people say, like never envision myself, but it's like, this is one of those things I totally envision myself doing something along the lines of this, not necessarily, right out of college, having such a great responsibility, but obviously being around good people and being around the game I love and grew up around, obviously this is something I definitely could see myself doing, and I'm really happy I'm doing it. But yeah, man. And still, having not necessarily some skin in the game, but I get to follow my teammates that are now in the league, and I got plenty of teammates that are working their way up through the minors. So I get to stay involved that way, where I get to watch them and keep tabs on their careers. And it's really cool to do that and have this as an occupation as well. So really cool.
That counts for more skin in the game than what a gambler does.
There you go.
So,
Good way to put it.
I'd say that definitely counts.
Good way to put it. And speaking of which, rest in peace, the late great Pete Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was crazy, but that had to have been sudden. I mean, I didn't know he was in bad health, but
unfortunately, like some people, I shouldn't say
right,
they do. They're right. They keep it private.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like even Greg Sharp, who's still calling games, like it got to the point where he needed to say it because he wasn't there. But he just wasn't gonna. I don't know if they just don't want to put that on other people, or if they just don't want their lives to be like any different. They just want everybody to treat them the same.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I totally.
Who was that comedian, Norm Macdonald?
Yeah,
he just went up to Canada, and, like nobody knew.
Yeah,
and he was just fine with it. Like
Funny
didn't make a big deal out
too.
of it. Oh, he's
hilarious.
One of the best.
Yeah. So, Mutombo too.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Christopherson kicked it, man. I mean, come on, man. It's too much.
Yeah, and
shout out Sharpie though, man. Love him. Great man.
But yeah, we lost a lot of greats. Honestly, these past few months.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're playing the Field of Dreams monologue for that exact reason. Because of losing him as well. But yeah, just kind of a crazy era. But at the same time, it's on to the next great. That's how those guys would want it.
No doubt. Legends never die.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But segueing back in the major leagues, yeah, man. The game is at a really cool point right now, Harrison. That like the talent that just jumps off the page. I mean, it's so fun to watch, and like tonight against our beloved Braves, recent Braves fan, not a bandwagon fan. I became a fan in 2021 when shortstop Spencer Schwellenbach was drafted in the second round.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of Braves fans around the Husker area for that reason, which is awesome. You love seeing it happens.
So
back in the Osborne era, you saw a bunch of 49ers fans. Today, if you see a bunch of Buccaneers fans, got Trey Palmer, David, now Schwellenbach.
Yep.
No, a bunch of Braves fans.
Absolutely. And I think it's just funny. They, in 2021, they draft him and obviously wasn't with the big league team, but then they go off and they win the World Series. And now it's like, you look back and it was just, 3 quick years. And here's the shortstop, Spencer Schwellenbach, pitching, starting, and throwing gem after gem after gem in the major leagues, man. And I mean, just those few short years ago, I was sharing a house with him, and so it's great to see one of your best pals literally living the dream. It's like it's super surreal, and I think that's the only word you can use to describe just being able to turn TV on and just watch him go to work. And he's not just giving you 2 innings of of shutout ball. No, he's giving the Mets fits. I think the Mets fan base probably will hate Spence for his entire career. And it's like, that's 1 in 30 ball club, a franchise, their whole fan base is going to remember you.
And that's a privilege.
You are infamous to that fan base. What a privilege. Yeah. So it's super funny to see. And his family's great. So, I mean, and he's such a great dude. And
I was gonna say you still keep in touch with him pretty often.
and I mean, and he's getting married this fall, so looking forward to that. And but you know, hopefully they can make a run. They lost tonight, sadly, but you know, best 2 of 3. It's just like rock paper scissors, you know. So you know, I hope they can make it out the mud there and make it to the division series. And but yeah, and him and Cade Povich.
Oh yeah,
Povich has been nails too. And what a cool thing just to have not just one but 2, you know, teammates in the league this far out too. Like it's like we're just 3 years, you know, from when they got drafted, and they're already in the major leagues, you know, throwing significant innings. And it's like, wow, you know, like I
that
said,
part for me is the timeline.
Yeah, it's super surreal. But at the same time, I was talking with my buddy the other day. It's like you look at when Spence was drafted, when Poe was drafted, like they were supposed, like, I mean, you know, they talk about these prospects when they're taken in like the first 3 rounds, like, right, like they're supposed to be surefire pros.
Yeah.
Right. And they're supposed to be in the league in X amount of years, but it's like, so that was always part of their plan, I'm sure. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean, you don't draft them that early.
I mean, Spence was a second rounder, and Poe was a third rounder, I believe. And just great talents. And so it's like when you see those guys drafted, you're like, yeah, they're big leaguers. But then you know how many like factors can derail careers.
Yeah,
not
just
only
one bad
that
injury.
Yeah, and
you're drafting new guys every year.
And just baseball being baseball. So you know, there's other factors that can definitely play a role in their careers. But now doing it at this level, this quickly, I mean, it's spectacular. It's so freaking cool, dude. And so they got to pitch against each other this year.
Yeah,
and
I
would have freaking, I'd paid a good penny if I could have been there. But no, it's really cool to watch on the iPad.
Yeah, it just makes baseball really fun to watch at the pro level when you know you got some former Huskers out there,
Cool.
not just playing, but they're playing well.
Yeah.
Like and again, like yes, you expected it, but you still got to see those things pan out. It's like kind of what we do with like football. It's like, yeah, we want to get excited, but it's got to be verified at a certain point, and that's just reasonable. Like, you want to see it verified, and yeah, we'll see what happens for the Braves and if these guys keep sticking through it. How well Schwambach keeps doing. Obviously, they dropped one night, but
Matt Waldron as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I only got to play 1 year with Matty, but it was like one of those guys. You see him go about their business. You're like, that's a pro, you know. And I was only 18, 19 getting to see him, and what a privilege that was. That guy could just throw anything he wanted. I mean, Nate Fisher, another big leaguer on that team. You know, he had a shorter stint, but he'll always be able to say he's a big leaguer.
Oh yeah.
So just super cool, man. It's just really cool to have rubbed elbows with those guys, you know, and they're all really special athletes and special humans. So really cool. And we got plenty of Huskers making their way through the minors too.
Yeah,
I might add.
Still got some more coming up.
Yeah, no doubt. So those guys, I'm sure we're gonna make a big splash here soon. Bryce Matthews got all the way to AAA this year. Like, dude, it's incredible. Just
I feel like he was one of those guys where I really started dialing in on Nebraska baseball, really around your show, and then we're starting to see some like really good progress. And then Bryce Williams is always one of those guys. Where
Matthews, yeah.
Or excuse me,
You're good.
I said Bryce Williams. We were talking about Bryce Williams earlier, but Bryce Matthews, just an absolute electric player.
Yeah, no doubt. And he progressed so well through his first, you know, his 3 years in college. So I mean, it's no surprise that he's probably making those same leaps in the farm system. And he's gonna, you know, once he gets called up, he's gonna be home. I mean, he's from Houston, so it's like, what more can you ask for? So it's really cool to see these dudes living out their dreams. Really neat.
Especially just doing so well. And like, obviously you don't want to make it a selfish route, but I mean, that speaks a lot about the Nebraska program as well. It's like when you have guys you can point to, it's like they came here and now they're over there in the pro leagues. And not only they're climbing up and they're playing some serious ball. So with that being said, we'll throw it to break here. We got one more segment, Uncut, with Kyle Perry, the former Husker pitcher, in the studio to my left. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep things rolling.
Escape the ordinary gym experience and unlock a new you with 3 Pillars Performance. Whether you're a high school athlete, college student, or former athlete, 3 Pillars Performance's state-of-the-art facility and certified trainers are dedicated to helping you achieve your fitness goals. Join a community that helps you get leaner, stronger, and move better than you ever have before. Visit 3 Pillars Performance online at 3pillarsperformance.com or in person at 5620 South 49th Street in Lincoln. Maximize your athletic potential with 3 Pillars Performance today.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, More horseback riding, zip line gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
A commitment to volunteer service is one of the many things that makes Nebraska so special. Volunteers give their time, energy, and resources, and they ask for nothing in return. The Step Forward Awards ensures they're recognized for all they do. Those honored this year for the impact they've made in their communities are Gretchen Mack of Omaha, Kira Montiel of Papillion, Vern Hickok of Cairo, Mildred Moody of Gehring, Blue River Arts Council in Crete, Nebraska Land Bank in North Platte, Lincoln Industries in Lincoln, Cinderlyn Meredith of Seward, Deb Zobel of Ashland, Sally Harms of Wisner, Senator Diana Shimmick of Lincoln, and Rick Weimer of West Point. Serve Nebraska thanks all nominators, nominees, and sponsors for helping us celebrate volunteerism. To learn more about the Step Forward Awards and this year's honorees, visit serve.nebraska.gov. Sponsored by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Have you been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn? At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call Liberty Law at 877-42-LIBERTY. Advocates you need, trial attorneys you can trust. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
You're listening to Uncut with Kyle Perry on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, wrapping things up here. Uncut with Kyle Perry, the host, going forward. And as always, to my left, coming back with Uncut. This isn't the very first time this show's dropped, but it is officially back and will be back at this 10 to 11 p.m. slot. Thursdays, you might get him as early as 9. And then, of course, on Sundays, we'll have him there as well. If you guys want to join in, final thoughts, 402-464-5685. As Kyle Perry struggles with the Rubik's Cube of a headset over there.
You know, that's a really good analogy, Harrison, because this is what it seems like.
I'll be honest. You know what? They rotate.
But I really don't even need to hear myself.
No,
so
you don't. I gotta watch on the audio over here, so we're straight.
Yeah. Just don't just make sure I'm not talking too loud.
But yeah, I will say that I don't know why those headsets. Everybody has a problem with them. They rotate 360 degrees. While you'd want to wear the headphones on the outside part I'm not sure, but
yeah,
you can do
that's
that.
a really good point, Harrison. Really good point. I finally got it fixed.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we got about 4 minutes here, Perry. Where do you want to wrap things up with?
Is anybody up? Anybody awake on the text line?
We'll find out. Ohio Husker was the last one awake.
Shout out Ohio Husker, man.
And as people get used to this programming and understand they got a good hour of baseball here.
Yeah.
We'll start chiming in and get the baseball questions.
Maybe
up.
if people don't like baseball, then maybe we can talk about football. Shout out the Huskers, man. 2 wins away from bowl season, man. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to talk this soon, Harrison, because we've been scarred, we've been battered, we've been beaten, we have been
embarrassed.
That's a really good one. Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, we've been let's be real, the laughing stock of college football since 2016.
And I think people have loved it.
Frankly. Yeah. 100%.
And I wasn't around for the glory days. I was born in 2000.
2000?
Yeah.
99. So we missed the cutoff.
Yeah. And that sucks.
You're part of the weird era with me because we're like, Bo Pelini, what's
we
wrong?
We were good, dude.
Yeah.
And then everyone was, 9 wins, not good enough.
Yeah. I get it. Losing, to Wisconsin 70 to, I think it was like 13 or 31 in that conference championship game was, it's going to sting, but sure.
We have 2 unreal, great all-time Husker highlights from that game. So I don't, Taylor Martinez freaking scrambling 300 yards. Whatever they put sports science on that. We were talking about sports science. But then Kenny Bell's block, that was unreal. That Kenny Bell block, I mean, I'm sure you remember watching that in real time, don't you?
Yeah, I screamed.
I mean, that was the coolest. And then they threw flags.
I thought he got killed.
Yeah.
I was like, he got killed. he's not getting up.
No.
Man, shout out Kenny Bell. Yeah. I will say that's a chapter of Husker football I owe a lot of my fandom to. First Husker football game was McNeese State where Amir Abdullah.
I was there too.
That was my very first game. And I remember sitting there like,
we're about to lose.
Yeah. I'm like, this is going to be the worst experience ever. Amir Abdullah said, don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
I got it.
I remember that game too. That was really cool.
He was not happy about it though in the locker room, apparently. Talking to Amir Pearson now. Oh, he was mad. He's like, it's ridiculous. I had to make that play. That's bull. Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's the leader though.
No doubt.
He's like, I just made the game winning play, but I'm not happy. I
shouldn't
have
put you guys on my back.
Yeah, seriously though. I mean, he did. No. And then some. I mean, he probably had to wear the backstrap for a couple of days with that kind of weight bearing load he had on there. We got Ohio Husker saying 9-3.
I like that a lot, Ohio Husker, and Raiola,
he's got it.
Real deal, man. I'm happy we got him, man. It's pretty special just the amount of buzz that's been around the program in the last year.
He's just got that poise. Like, it's something I'd also give to like Bryce Matthews.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, it's something about the calm, collective poise.
Yep, and Schwelly's got that pose. I mean, all the good ones got it, and it's like, it's impressive, and you can see it, you can sense it. When a competitor's in that mode, and you can tell that he's in control of everything around him. It's really cool to watch, and definitely as an 18, 19-year-old kid, Dylan is. I mean, tip your cap, man. I mean, it's pretty incredible. But yeah, and I think it's funny that he's being, the Mahomes doppelganger or whatever they want to call him. But hey, I mean, if
he's throwing touchdowns, I don't give a damn what he looks like.
The kid's a true freshman. I mean, if he wants to emulate Patty Mahomes and play sort of like it, go right ahead, man. Yeah, that's one hell of a guy to emulate right there.
That's where I'm at with my Chicago Bears.
Yeah,
and Caleb Williams. I'm like, man, I'll pay my nails if we get to the Super Bowl. Like, I don't give a damn. Like, I really don't care what they're doing.
What's their record right now?
2-2. Hey, 2-2 is like, you're probably just happy to be there.
I am a Bears fan, so yep.
It's all right. It's been a bumpy road, but you know what? The Packers are also 2-2. And as much as it sucks, the NFC North, they got the Lions in there, but it's so hard to root against the Lions.
Yeah. Dan Campbell, man, he's
that guy.
He's sick, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of coaches, though, Matt Rule, man, he probably learned a lot in the NFL. And I mean, sports records.
I'll tell you what, his record with the Panthers looks more impressive by the day.
It does it?
I'd say so. Until they got out of Andy Dalton. Now they look a little better.
There you go. Yeah, and I think it's like, if a guy has a tough spell in the NFL, it's a business more so than anything else. So it's like, okay, like that's tough. And sometimes you just can't control your record, your wins and losses as a coach. And I've never been a coach, but like there are certain things out of your control. And so, but then when he came in, he's starting to develop this culture of discipline, of, of this is how we go about our business, and now he's implementing there's a standard. Actually see a lot of Coach Bolt and Matt Rule, which is just hilarious. I wonder if they're boys.
It seems like the coaches do a pretty good job of like interacting, and I know he's Fred Hoiberg, Rule, basketball team. Amy Williams, John Cook, like they all seem to have each other's back, which is good to see. They're representing the end, not just the sport.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it's really cool that there's been so much pride, poured back into the football program. There's always going to be the fandom, with Husker football,
especially
that's
when you start winning.
No doubt, but it's really cool to see a little bit of product given back to the fans.
Absolutely. Well, Kyle Perry, it was somewhat of a debut of Unkut. Is this kind of the return of it? Where can they find you? They want to give you a follow on Twitter.
O Street. Yeah, follow me, Kyle Perry. I think the E in Kyle's a 3, and that's about it. We're going to be keeping you posted on social media, and I'm excited to be back here at 93.7 The Ticket, baby.
Absolutely. We'll do it again tomorrow. Talk to you guys later.